Okay, hi, welcome back to our Zoom recorded sessions. All right, and this is not a live session, all right, because of my announcement which I have posted in the Facebook. I'll be having because of my some changes, right, some changes in my teaching schedule, so I will be unable to conduct Zoom live sessions on every Friday at 8 to 9 p.m. So this is a recorded lesson. Okay, so I'll be doing recorded lessons for all the different types of heuristics. So it's going to be similar to the Zoom live session, just that you won't be able to ask me any questions, all right, because it's a recorded lesson. Okay, but nevertheless, the lesson should still be the same, all right. The contents, right, the contents of what I want to say will be the same as the Zoom live lesson. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the elimination method. Okay, so what is elimination method? It is a minor method which is quite easy to learn, and it's a method that can actually solve a number of questions, right? A number of questions, but it's a minor method. Okay, but before we talk about this elimination method, I would like to show you some things, or some one of the common ways that most of us teachers we will use to solve the problem. That is not really elimination method. That is also a different way. And the steps will be shortened, right? Will be even lesser, right? So let me show you that way, right? That kind of method, which most of the teachers, including myself, sometimes we will do that, but it doesn't work all the time, which I will show you why later. Okay, let's look at number one, right? Example number one, and I will show you the common way that most of us will use to solve. Okay, but this is not elimination method, right? It's a different, something a bit different. So the total cost of two. All right, let me just, okay. So the total cost of two similar boxes of cupcakes and a box of brownies cost $30. The total cost of 5 boxes of cupcakes and 5 boxes of brownies cost $105. So what's the cost of one box of cupcakes? Okay, now, so in my lesson, or in school, what we do is we will teach our students to draw pictures. Okay, if they are lower primary or primary 4, then we will teach them to draw pictures, right? Circles, like what do you mean by pictures? Something like this, okay. So you have two boxes of cupcakes and one box of brownies, so something like that, right? Something like that, and then the total will be $30, right? $30. And then you have 5 boxes of cupcakes, all right? So something like that, all right? So this is what we do. Okay, what we do. But when we go to primary 5 and higher, so it's a bit hard to do this because you don't want to draw so many of these pictures. So I'm going to remove the pictures, all right? And then I'm going to write letters, okay? Letters to represent the pictures. So the total cost of 2 boxes of cupcakes, so let me just put letters. And 1 box of brownie, okay, brownie costs $30. So equal, all right, equal $30. So that's how we teach our students to do a little faster without having to draw pictures. But for the primary 3 and sometimes the primary 4, they may find this a little hard to understand because it's lettering. So then we will show them pictures. Okay, the total cost of 5 boxes of cupcakes and 5 boxes of brownies, and that will be $105. Okay, now, so in school, we will do this, okay, because it's efficient, right? It's efficient. It doesn't really have a lot of steps, but must think more because it's efficient, but it means that we have to think a bit more. So we look at the cupcakes and the brownies, and we are supposed to find 1 box of cupcakes. So we have to play with the statements, right? We have to play with the statements. So how do we play? So we have to look at the entire statement, right? There are 2 statements there. So we look at the entire statement. For example, this one, and we divide by 5, right? So that's one way, okay, one way. So we play with the entire statement, and then we will get 1 box of cupcakes and 1 box of brownie, and then you divide by 5. So 105 divided by 5, you will get $21. Okay, so that's nothing to do with elimination, right? Nothing to do with elimination at this point of time. And then what do we do? And then, okay, now you can see that we want to find 1 box of cupcakes. So what do we do? All right, so we don't have to look at this one. Okay, there's no need to look at this statement already because it has now been divided to become something else. All right, then you see what? You want to find 1 box of cupcakes. So I can take 2 cupcakes minus 1 box of cupcake, and I get 1 box of cupcakes. Okay, 1 box of cupcakes. And then I take 1 box of brownie minus 1 box of brownie. That's gone, right? It's gone. Or like some teachers, they will call it eliminated, right? So it's a little like elimination, right? but it's not totally it's not totally using that method, which you will see later, right? You will see how I fully use the method, and which is why I call it elimination method. But over here, I actually minus the one box of brownies away. So there's no more box of brownies. And then I take 30 minus 21 and I will get $9. So you can see that immediately, how much is one box of cupcakes? I get $9 already. So it's pretty fast, right? Quite fast. So you have to look at the entire statement, right? You have to look at this entire statement, right? This statement, right? The box, the brownies and the cupcakes together as an entire statement. And then you have to play with it. So how do you play with it? You actually divide by 5 to get one box of brownies and one box of cupcakes, and then you can minus, okay, minus to get one box of to get how much is one box of cupcakes. All right, so it's quite fast, all right, for this way of doing. Okay, let me just show you another example, right? Another example using something similar also. So the total cost of 4 identical erasers and 6 rulers was $5.20. So you have 4 erasers and 6 identical rulers was $5.20. Okay, so we will have to do this, right? So whether we are using elimination method or we are doing that method or whatever, we have to write something like this, because this is the process, right, of solving, right? When we solve something, how should we start? So we start something like this. And the total cost of 2 erasers and 4 rulers was $3.20. Okay, so again, we look at the entire statement and we want to find the cost of 1 ruler. So you have to look at the entire statement to find the cost of 1 ruler. Okay, so what can we do? So I can look at the entire statement, which is this one, and I play with it. I divide by 2. Okay, I divide by or divide by 2. Okay, or which one should we play? We want to find 1 ruler, right? So I think we should look at the first statement. Okay, first statement. Okay, the first statement. So you can see there's more thinking involved, right? There's a little bit more thinking to know which statement to look at and to manipulate the statement. So we look at this statement, right? Just now I boxed the statement below, but then thinking a little bit more, I think we look at the top statement, which is better because I am going to divide by 2 and I get 2 erasers. So divide by 2, you get 2 erasers. And then I divide by 2, I get 3 rulers. And I divide by 2 and I will get $2.60, right? $5.20 divided by 2 will be $2.60. So this box, okay, this statement, which we can ignore. So now I can get rid of the erasers. I subtract, which is elimination, right? So I minus, okay, minus, no more erasers already. And then 4 rulers minus 3 rulers, I will get 1 ruler. And then $3.20 minus $2.60, I will get 60 cents. Yep. Okay, so you can see it's quite fast, right? Quite fast. All right, so you have to play with the entire statement, right? The entire statement. All right, so you can see that it's actually like very easy to learn. And it seems like, okay, quite efficient, right? Okay, then let's go to another example. Okay, another example. Okay, and I want to jump to practice 2, all right, to show you another similar one. Okay, another similar one so that that you understand this way of doing, which is nothing wrong, which is good, because if you can also master this way of doing, I think you can do faster. All right, so let's look at another example. The total cost of 5 pens and 2 files. Okay, 5 pens and 2 files is $21.80. So we are going to use that efficient way, right? That faster way of doing. And then the total cost of 3 pens, right? 3 pens and 6 files is $31.80. So we are supposed to find the cost of 1 pen. Okay, so how do we find 1 pen? Okay, so what should we do? Okay, you can see it's a bit hard already. So you have to think of which statement that you want to play with. Okay, I think we should not be looking at the first statement. We should be looking at this statement, because why? I can divide, right? I can divide the pens and the files by 3 or by 2, right? By 3 or by 2. All right, so maybe I divide by 3. Okay, divide by 3 or divide by 2. Okay, let's divide by 3. Okay, let's divide by 3 because if I divide by 3, what will happen? I will have one pen, and then divide by 3, I will get 2 files. Okay, and then $31.80, you also divide by 3. Okay, so $31.80 divided by 3, you will get $10.60, right? Okay, then this statement that you box will be cancelled, right? You don't have to see that anymore. And then you can now subtract. So 5 pence minus 1 pen will give you 4 pence left. And then 2 files minus 2 files will be nothing, none. Okay, no more already. And then $21.80, and you minus $10.60, you will get $11.20, right? All right, and then you can find 1 pen, right? So 1 pen will be divided by 4. So $11.20 divided by 4, and you will get 1 pen, which is $2.80. So it's very efficient, right? You can see the steps are very, very fast, but you have to look at the entire statement, and you have to play with the statement. And how do you play with the entire statement? You have to think about whether can you divide by a number, and then after dividing already, then what must you do? Then you must think about whether can you subtract, so that you can get rid of the you can get rid means to eliminate. You can get rid of the files to find how much is the pence, right? So that what we have done here is we subtract to get rid of the files. Okay, so there's a little bit of elimination over here, a little bit of elimination method, but there's a lot of thinking, right? You have to play with the statement. You have to look at the entire statement to see whether can divide, and then later on subtracts. Okay, now what happened if we come to this question? Okay, this question, and then you find that you want to play with the statement, there's a problem. So Xingting had $61 to buy 3 boxes of drinks and 4 tins of milk. Instead, she bought 4 boxes of drinks and 3 tins of milk and had $3 left. So can you find the cost of a box of drinks? So we have 3 boxes of drinks. So you label, right? Show out your statements, and 4 tins of milk, okay? And she had $61 to buy all this. But did she do that? No, she didn't. She bought 4 boxes of drinks. D stands for drinks. And she bought 3 tins of milk. M stands for milk. And did she spend $3 to buy all this? That's where some students, they get stuck. They don't know what to write. The $3 left is not the spend. So how much did she spend? So you take $61, which is the money, and you minus the leftover, and that will give you $58 spent, right? And not $3 spent. Okay. Then you look at the 2 statements, right? You want to find 1 box of drinks. And then you look at the statement and you want to play with the statement, right? And you look at either one and you can't divide. You can't divide. So what happens? Then that particular way that we want to use cannot work. Cannot work, right? Because in this statement, we can't do anything. And the worst thing to do is what can we do? Right. Oh, some of you will think, okay, if those of you who are quicker, right, who are able to think, you plus them all together, yeah, which is 7 drinks plus 7 tins of milk, and then you equal, right? Right. Some of you who are able to think like that, okay, you plus them all together, and then $61 plus $58, that will give you $119. Now, some students may not be able to think like that, right? You may not think about adding everything together, but some will think like that, but others may not think like that, right? And then after that, then you get stuck also because you don't know what to do. But again, some students will know what to do because they will continue to divide by 7 to get 1 box of drinks and 1 tin of milk. And how much is that? You divide by 7 and you get $17, right? $17. So you have 1 box of drinks and 1 tin of milk, $17. Okay, and then how? And then what should we do? And then you have to play again, right? You have to play. Okay, you have to play with the statements again, right? Play with the statements again. And all right, so how do you play with the statements? Okay, let me just erase something. Okay, let me just erase this line. Okay, erase this line so that we can see all the statements very clearly. Okay, let me just write again. So this is your 4 box of drinks. So you can see that there's a lot of thinking over here. All right, then what happens? Okay, so this statement, we don't look at it already because it has become 1 box of drinks and 1 tin of milk. And I want to find 1 box of drinks. Okay, so what do I do? Then you have to look at the entire statements, and then you have to play with the statements. So maybe what? Okay, maybe I think I know. Maybe I take this one. Okay, I take this one, right? Maybe. And then what do I do? And then I minus this one. Okay, you can see it's get a little hard already, right? So this is advanced thinking already, right? You're playing with the statement. So you take 4 drinks minus 1 drinks, you get 3 boxes of drinks. Then 3 tins of milk plus 1 tin of milk will be 2 tins of milk, right? 2 tins of milk. And then the money, which is 58 minus 17, and then you will get 41. All right. Okay, then what do we do next? Then it was a bit confusing, right? With so many statements. So we still have to find 1 box of drinks. So how do we find 1 box of drinks? You can see that a bit hard already. Okay, a bit hard. So you can see that I'm not going to continue from here because there's a lot of thinking over here. It's a bit advanced already. So when I try to use that way, which I showed you just now, which seems to be quite efficient, which seems to have a few steps and get the answer faster. But does it work for every time? Does it work every time for all questions all types of questions like this? Not really. Okay, not really. So what is the best way to solve questions like this, and including all those earlier questions that we saw? So what's the best way that we can use? Now, the best way that we can use is something called the elimination method. So we are going to do something which is totally elimination method. Means there's only one way, one direct process. There's only one direct. There's a one fixed way. All right. If I were to say elimination method, there's only one fixed way, and it's very easy to learn, very easy to master. And then there's nothing hard about it because you just have to understand the process, which is only one fixed way. Okay, one fixed way, and with that one fixed way, you will be able to solve all kinds of whatever questions that you are given. So let me show you how to do this. Okay, using the elimination method. So you can see that nothing wrong with that first way, right? The first way is good because it does help to get the answer faster. And also you have less steps, less mistakes, but it doesn't work all the time. So what happens if we see a question like this? Then what do? Then we also have to know how to really use the elimination method. So let's write again. 3 boxes of drinks and 4 tins of milk is $61. Okay, $61. And she bought 4 boxes of drinks and 3 tins of milk. And how much is that? That will be $58, right? Because she had $63 left, so she will have spent $58. So can you find 1 box of drinks? So what is the elimination method? Now you want to find 1 box of drinks, so which means that you don't need to know about the tin of milk. So I can get rid of the tin of milk. I can eliminate. I can get rid of it. And how to get rid of the tin of milk? You just have to make them equal. Make the number of tins equal. So you times 3. And then here you times 4. Okay, so this is the process. You get rid of something which the question never asks you to find. All right, like the question asks you to find the box of drinks, so you don't need to know the tins of milk. So you get rid of it. And how do you get rid? Make them equal. And the whole statement, right? You also do the same. Okay, make them equal. And then this part, all right. Then the next statement over here, you also do the same. You times 4. Okay, so that's how you make them equal. So this is a very fixed way, right? There's no thinking about how to do and what to do. You just have to follow this process, which is very easy for everyone to use. Okay, then the old skin, right? The old statement become the new statement, or I call it the old skin become the new skin. So you have 3 times 3 will be 9 boxes of drinks, and then 4 times 3 will be 12 tins of milk, and then 61 times 3 will be $183. Okay. All right, and then the old skin, another old statement, old skin, and then you times 4, there will be 16 boxes of drinks, and then 3 times 4 will be 12 tins of milk, and then 58 times 4. So 58 times 4, you will get $232. All right, then how do you get rid of the box of drinks? How do you get rid of the tins of milk? Okay, you want to know how much is the box of drinks. So how to get rid of the tins of milk? You look at the tins of milk, you can see they are now equal already. So you can minus, you can subtract. So how do you subtract? Well, you take the statement below and you minus a statement on top. So how does it look like? So it will look like this. You take the statement below, 12 minus 12, you have eliminated the tins of milk. So this is called the elimination method. There is a purposeful intention. There's an intention, right? There's an intention to get rid of something when you're using the method. All right. So you got rid of the tins of milk, and then you take the 16 boxes of drinks minus 9 boxes of drinks. You will get 7 boxes of drinks. And how much is the 7 boxes? Then you take 232 and minus 183, and you will get 49, right? $49. So how much is one box of drinks? So one box of drinks will be 7, right? $7, right? 49, and then you divide by 7, and that's how you get the answer. Right? Answer a bit quicker, right? What is a disadvantage of this elimination method? You may have a lot of steps. You may have to do a number of steps, right? But of course, if you can use that earlier way, right? The way that I showed you earlier, right? You can use that, you can do that, then the steps will be shortened, right? And you can do faster. But what happens if you can't? Then you must know how to do the elimination method. So you must have a backup, right? A backup. All right, and let me show you another example. All right, practice 2. Let's use practice 2, which I have shown you using the easier way. I mean, the way that was a bit easier. All right, the way that got us the answer faster. So let's look at this. Let's look at this one and the same question, and we are going to use the elimination method to try to get the answer. Okay, so the elimination method can work. All right, it can work for all kinds of questions in this category. All right, so you don't have to manipulate. You don't have to think about how to manipulate the statements. You don't have to play with the statements. Why we don't have to play with the statements? Because there is a purposeful there's a purpose, right? There's a purpose, which is to get rid of something that you don't want. So when there's a purpose, you don't have to think about how to play with the statements, because you already know what you want to get rid. And how do you get rid? Okay, let's show you. Okay, the total cost of 5 pens and 2 files is $21.80. 5 pens and 2 files is $21.80. And the total cost of 3 pens and 6 files, right? And 3 pens and 6 files will be $31.80, right? So can you find the cost of a pen? All right, so which means that I don't need to know the file. So I will have to get rid of the file because I don't need to know. So there is a purpose. There is a purpose here when I use the method, which is to get rid of something that I don't want. So I get rid of the file. So I make the number of files the same. So I times 3, and then I times 3, and the whole statement also times 3. And then the old statement, okay, the old statement become a new statement. So you have 15 pens plus 6 files, and that will be how much? So you take $21.80 and you times 3, that will give you $65.40, right? And then now you can see that the 6 files and the 6 files, they are equal already. So you can minus. So how do you minus? You take the below statement, okay, take the below statement, and you minus the top statement, okay? And how do you minus? Okay, so let's minus. So there is a purpose, right? There's a clear-cut direction to know what we want to do, right? We want to get rid of something that we don't want. So how to get rid of the files? Then you take the bottom statement minus the top statement. So 6 file minus 6 file, and then take the 15 pens minus 3 pens, you will get 12 pens. And then take the money, which is the bottom statement. Look at the bottom statement, which is $65.40, and you also minus $31.80. And you will get $33.60. So you are taking the bottom statement, right? The bottom statement, and you minus the top statement. Okay, so one more time. So you take 6 minus 6, bottom minus top statement. Then you take the money, bottom statement minus the top statement also. And then take the bottom, which is the 15 minus 3, and you get 12 pence. All right, so can you find how much is 1 pen? So 1 pen will be, so $33.60 divided by 12, and you will still get $2.80. So of course, this method, right, this elimination method seems to be a bit more steps, but it's fixed. It's very easy to use because it's just one way of using. It's only one way of using, right? Unlike model drawing where there's a variation, right? The model can draw many kinds of model, right? There are many ways to draw the model, but elimination method is just one fixed way. Okay, one way to use the method. And you don't have to think about how to play with the statements. You don't have to think about how to find the answer. Okay, so that's the, okay, so we come to the end of this, this short lesson. So let's have a quick recap. A quick recap, and let me just talk to you about, or let's summarize about the first part of the lesson. What is the first part of the lesson about? Now, the first part of the lesson is about a method, a efficient way, an efficient way that we can solve the problem by playing with the statement. And you can see that this particular way of doing, which is what many of us are using, the school teachers are using, all right, is very fast. Okay, you can see there's only a few steps, you get the answer super fast. Less step means less careless mistakes. So you have to play with the statements, all right? Look at the entire statement, and then you have to divide. Can you divide the entire statement by 2 or by something? Or sometimes you may even have to multiply the entire statement so that you can later subtract. Why must you subtract, right? You want to subtract so that you can get rid, right? You can get rid of the box of cupcakes. So there is a little bit of elimination, but there is a lot of thinking about how to find the box of cupcakes, right? So gather example 2, same method, same way of doing, right? For example 2, you play with the statements, right? Play with the statements, and then you have to subtract the statements to find what is one ruler. Okay, one ruler and so on. Then when we come to the second half of the lesson, you find that it's not so easy. Because why? Because when you write all the statements, you find that you cannot divide the statements, right? How to divide 3 boxes of drinks and 4 tins of milk? You can't divide. How do you divide 4 boxes of drinks and 3 tins of milk? You can't divide either statements. So for the quicker ones, you may want to add them all together, right? Which is nothing wrong. You add them all together. So you have 7 drinks and 7 tins of milk. And then after that, you divide by 7 to get 1 box of drinks and 1 tin of milk. And then you get stuck already because there's a lot of thinking about how to play with the statements to get 1 box of drinks. But we try to avoid that because when you have too much thinking, you waste a lot of time. So if we can't use that first way of doing, we can't use that, then we need to have a backup. We need to know how to use the elimination method, which is this. All right, and elimination method works for everything, right? Everything that you see in this lesson, all the questions that you see, you can use the elimination method, right? And it's a very clear-cut process, right? There's no variation, right? Unlike model drawing, which I told you, there are many ways to draw the model, but elimination method is just one way to solve the problem. Okay, all right, so we come to the end of this mini short lesson, and I think hopefully you understand how the elimination is like, and why is it effective for some problems, and why is it not effective? Because you can see sometimes you do have a lot of steps when you're using this method compared to the earlier way of doing. All right. Okay, so each way of doing has its own pros and cons, but you need to have backup. If this way cannot work, then you need to have a backup. So there's always a backup to do your problems. All right. Okay, so I will see you in the next Zoom recorded lesson. So in the Zoom recorded lesson, I'll be touching on other types of heuristics. So stay tuned, right? Stay tuned to the next heuristics that I'll be talking, which I will post in my Facebook. All right. So see you in the next lesson, recorded lesson.